Hello, everyone. My name is Carl Sterling, and it's really good to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to share this presentation. Let's get started. We're going to share the screen and go right into a presentation about neuromotor training. So what is neuromotor training? Well, we're going to go through and tell you about this. We're going to start this right here from the beginning. I have entitled this, subtitled this, Neuropsychomotor Rehabilitation, an integrative and fitness-based approach to improving cognition and movement. All right. When we look at this, realize that this is for all humans. We all have a nervous system, nervous systems, and a brain. So this applies to all people. I do specialize in working with people with movement disorders, Parkinson's, MS, MSA, and all types of other things. So this is also, though, for people who have no diagnosis and just want to sharpen their skills and move better. All right, so let's move forward. Little disclaimer here. The methodology that I created through a Parkinson's regeneration training curriculum, if you will, is intended to complement medical care and medications and not to replace them. Much of our education is based on research, much is based on evidence, but other parts are not based on research or evidence, but have been proven to be highly effective. We have to think outside the box many times so that we can keep pushing ourselves. And basically, we are our own research laboratories in the work that we do. And of course, always have your client or patient exercise safety first. Have them do what they can, not what they can't. All right, let's move forward. Our intention here is to bridge a void, to fill a gap. And that the double arrow there actually represents the, let's say, the area to be filled. On the left, you have the current level or amount of medical care, neurology care, physical therapy, education about various movement disorders, let's say, or rehabilitation techniques cognitively and movement-wise. Okay, that's the existing situation. And this will vary widely even within certain countries, okay? And on the right, we have the goal of improving functional life for the patient. Well, in the middle, we know that we can help with more information, more education. This is what I'm here for, all right? Talking about some things that a lot of people don't really talk about. So we'll bring this to you today. And this is for everyone, fitness professionals, physiotherapists. Let's see, who else? Caregivers, basically anyone who's interested in helping people to think better, move better. For example, take a person with Parkinson's disease, all right? It's a full body multifunction experience, all right? This can affect people in so many different ways, but it also affects people differently. And in fact, even the same person on different days may feel different. All right, so not everyone experiences the same symptoms, but we want to help these people to live a full and active life. We would like to help to slow disease progression. We would like to help reduce fall risks. And hopefully we can positively impact cognition, movement, and quality of life for a person with PD or other movement disorders, neurological disorders, and their caregivers as well. We also hope to delay disease onset for somebody who may be genetically predisposed to something like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, etc. For example, again, I'm using Parkinson's because I do a lot of work in that area. What is the most immediate and primary concern for the person with PD? Well, that would be falling. They're at a much higher risk of falls and injury. And actually, statistically, the number one cause of death in the people who live with Parkinson's in that population are complications from a fall. So we really want to stay away from falling. Well, one of the things that we know, and this comes from a lot of research, but Dr. John Rady at Harvard wrote several best-selling books, and also I've gotten to know him over the years. He speaks in an interview I did with him last spring in 2020 that movement lights up the brain. So just the mere act of getting moving changes brain chemistry, and our bodies are designed to move. All right. We can enhance the benefits of, let's say, movement by doing something that is fun or playful. We can do it outdoors. There are many benefits visually, sensory wise, even the negative ions and how good they are for your immune system. There are many benefits of doing movement or exercise outdoors. We're also going to talk about benefits of using, let's say, going barefoot. All right, we'll qualify that in a while with what we mean exactly and why it's beneficial. There are also benefits in working out or exercising or walking with music. So we could do any one or all of these things together. It'll help us to learn better, have better retention of what we read, what we learn, and just to function better and improve our movement, our brain health, our body health, and our immune system. Moving forward, let's talk about the nervous system. Well, it includes two major branches. We have the central nervous system, of course, and then the peripheral nervous system. Conceptually, what happens is the brain, through the nervous system, it links, conceptually, it links the brain with the body, our nervous system does, and the body and all of its organs back to the brain. I also want to talk about something that is very, very important. It's kind of, let's say, a buzzword the past 2 or 3 years. Interoception versus exteroception, another buzzword. Well, what is this and why is it important? Interoception is paying attention to and being mindful of how we feel within the confines of our own skin. I'm going to give credit there to Dr. Andrew Huberman from the Stanford University Huberman Lab. This comes directly from him. All right, well, what is exteroception? This is our perception and awareness of what's happening in the outside world. The job of the nervous system is to take the inner world and match it to the demands of the outside world. We want to sharpen the nervous system and match the inner world with the demands of the outer world. That is our goal through the training that we provide. Again, let's talk about intero and exteroception, the extremes, however. When we're asleep, we're pretty much purely in relation to ourselves with no exteroception whatsoever, usually. You're sleeping, and I know when I'm sleeping, I'm not aware of anything. There was a big something across the street the other night, and I didn't hear all the fire trucks. I was sleeping. All right. Exteroception extremes. Have you ever been in this situation? I have on a few occasions. You're in an airport. You're running to the gate to catch a plane. You're late, and you're yelling, wait, don't shut the door. By the way, this comes from Huberman Lab at Stanford as well. Well, during this, and I remember one particular time in Mexico City where I was just in a turmoil trying to get from one gate to another on time. I was sweating. My heart rate increased. I was breathing fast, breathing harder, completely unaware of the fact that I was having any of this happening to me because I was not in touch with my inner self. I was only focused on getting to the gate. So I was almost in complete exteroception. So as we continue this, we just want to look at this and realize that most of the time we are in the middle of extero and interoception, and we're going back and forth between the two. All right. So it's the job of the nervous systems to manage this. The nervous systems can change and they can learn as needed. So let's talk a little bit more about the nervous system. It always works collaboratively with other systems in the body, muscular, skeletal, so that we can organize, it can organize itself over a goal that it wants to achieve. And if firing doesn't happen in a certain order, okay, then if nervous systems aren't firing, if the nervous systems or the nerves aren't firing, and we have awkward movement, if they're not firing efficiently, if the timing is wrong, if the timing is not optimal, well, movement looks awkward. It looks, let's say, it just doesn't look right. So when we train, when we go through sessions with patients and clients, we want to train with the idea of creating optimal firing patterns in the brain and in the nervous system to help the body to move better and reduce fall risk. Let's start off with what we call bottom-up training. All right, bottom-up training. What is that? Well, we start at the bottom. This is where we'll talk a little bit about barefoot movement and how much of a big deal it really is. When you take off the shoes, here's what happens. You stimulate the plantar skin. which is 80% dense with small nerve sensory receptors and mechanoreceptors. These nerves and the plantar skin are directly connected to the central nervous system and to the brain. All right, so barefoot movement, barefoot training wakes up and pre-activates the nervous system and the brain. Basically what happens is when you wear shoes and socks for decades, okay, you're wearing shoes and socks for decades, and over the decades, you're getting less and less sensory input from the surface underneath you, because when you wear shoes, especially the thicker the sole, the worse it is, because you're dampening the sensory input. You're not getting an accurate, let's say, proprioceptive awareness or input of the vibrations underneath you, the surface underneath you. Okay, so, and these nerves tend to just fall asleep. It's not like they're dead, but they fall asleep. And so you don't have as much input even when you take your shoes off right away. But if you take your shoes and socks off and start moving around, sometimes after just a couple of minutes, you have woken up a lot of those sleepy nerves and you start to feel more. All right, you get more input into the brain through the nervous systems on what is underneath you. This helps to create what we call improved anticipatory responses and reflexive stability. An example of an anticipatory response is I'm going to jump from one place to another, even if it's a short distance. So I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to jump, and I know that when I land, I have to brace. That's an example of anticipatory response. That's one example. Reflexive stability would be an example of, well, take me, for example, in San Luis Potosi, Mexico, 2 nights in a row at the same restaurant. I left and went out the door, and I stepped off the curb with my left foot onto the road. So it was a step down of quite a few inches. And you know what? I almost fell down both nights, but I didn't fall down because my reflexes were good enough to stabilize me. So we want to establish and improve, let's say, reflexive stability and anticipatory responses. So barefoot can help us to do this. Barefoot is a big deal. And also the palm skin on your palms, that is highly populated with small nerve endings, sensory and mechanoreceptors. Okay, if we just take our fingertips and touch them together while we're doing things, this can actually oftentimes create improved stability. And that comes from a study, which I can send a citation to if you wish, on canes and the use of a cane when walking. The cane isn't so much used to lean on in most cases. It's the vibratory input, the impact force from the ground up through the cane into the palm of the palm skin to wake up those little nerves, okay? I advocate training barefoot every day, even if for 5-10 minutes, not even necessarily training, just walking around, wake up those nerves. All right, I'm going to skip the next part because we want to get to a couple of things. I will mention, though, if you go to this website, if you're interested in purchasing Naboso insoles, those are a fantastic, beautiful textured insole designed by Dr. Emily Splicko, who is a functional podiatrist and a movement specialist, now living in Arizona. I taught for her for years. I worked for her for years. She's an amazing educator, amazing person. And she has developed this textured insole, the mats, the insoles. They're great because you can trim them down. You can trim the insoles down to size. They have a little pointy surface that's specifically designed to take the benefits of barefoot in your shoes out the door with you. And the results and improvements in movement we see with these are absolutely astounding. prtnaboso.com is where you would go if you're interested in checking those out. They're available globally. All right, let's talk about more sensory input, waking up the nervous system and the brain through vibration. We can use a vibrating device, which I'll show you in a moment, to wake up plantar skin. Okay, you can walk around barefoot. You can walk around outside barefoot. It's even better because then you're grounding. You're grounding and getting benefits of, negative ions and things like in nature, and this is good for your immune system. But you can also vibrate the plantar skin. You could use a vibration device on the palmar skin. Vibration can help with constipation, which is rampant in society these days. It can help to loosen things up and get them moving towards the exit. Myofascial release, something that a lot of us have done over the years with foam rollers, where you can use a vibrating device to enhance the benefits of getting out the lesions in the fascia. When somebody holds a vibrating ball, for example, which I'll show you the ball in a moment and another slide, this can help to reduce tremors temporarily. And those have been very nice results, helping people to improve quality of life. Maybe they can write for easier, or text or type, or go out to dinner and not worry about spilling stuff, food, drink on the table or on their clothes. This can help with various types of dystonia. We've especially had success with vibration with cervical dystonia. All right. And also using the vibrating device on legs up and down, like maybe 5 minutes per leg, just slowly rolling up and down the entire leg, just the muscles, not the bones, help to diminish restless leg syndrome during sleep. All right. This is a device that we use. It's a 5-inch or 5.5-inch ball, I believe, made by a company called Hypersphere. This is the Hyper Ice Ball. It's a tank, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is so durable. Mine has traveled. I've had it for 4 years. It's been to, I think, over 30 countries with me. It's indestructible. It has 3 speeds, and that is the device that I choose to use. It's an amazing one. But any kind of vibrating device will be better than no vibrating device. Power plate is another total body type of vibration, which there are so many benefits to that, but that would be another presentation that I would give separate. But just look up power plate, check it